Let's look at the bright side of prejudice. Now, I know the word prejudice has overtones of dark and undesired behavior. But like most controversial behaviors, context has to be considered before a full understanding can take place. Hatred and hurt and judging and biased favoritism are all the ugly offspring of unkind prejudice. And certainly these traits are typical of the dark side of prejudice. May we never exercise that type of prejudice. Lord willing. Lord help us. I think if we dwell only on the negative attributes of prejudice, we rob the word of a full, well-rounded definition. See, I propose there are two sides to prejudice. One is dark and one is light. And no, this isn't a veiled racial slur. That's not me. That's not happening. The two sides of prejudice that we interact with on a daily basis are either good or bad. I would say very bad. These sides are joined and separated by preference, context, and intent. We are very familiar with the dark side of prejudice. So I won't spend much time trying to clarify what that looks like. We know what it looks like. So as the title suggests, I want to concentrate on the brighter side. You may say, what bright side? Prejudice is not limited to a declaration of what we are against, but it can also be about what we are for. That is where preference, context, and intent take on a whole new meaning. All right, I am for my family, for my wife, my favorite wife, for my children, for my grandchildren, for my brothers and relatives. I am prejudiced for my family. I show unembarrassed favoritism and preference for the ones I love. And I bet you do too. And I have no apology for that. I am very prejudiced for my family. You see, context and intent can safeguard a right and a bright understanding of prejudice. For example, let's say we're on a boat and there's a shipwreck and survival was dependent on tossing a few kids over the side. You can be sure it won't be my kids. Your kids aren't as cute as mine and say, hey, I'm just protecting the gene pool. The point is, we are all prejudiced for so many things. We choose what to eat or drink or wear based on what we like. Or simply put, we exercise our prejudicial preference. You see, even our Creator has shown prejudicial preference for His chosen people. He has a chosen people, but He also loves everyone. We know He loves the world, but He abundantly blesses His children. The cries of humanity are not unnoticed by the Father, but the prayers of His children are a pleasing aroma to Him. Now, it may be much easier to express what we're against, but I want to encourage you to take the hard road and find a path that lifts up a positive prejudicial behavior. If you can't say it, at least act it. But before casting judgment on anything, always factor in the equation of what's the preference, what's the context, what's the intent. You see, if we don't allow for the bright side, we weaken the positive potential of prejudice. And I'm sure that that whole phrase may rub you the wrong way. It's weird. I understand that. But there's a positive potential of prejudice. Prejudice. See, even now, when I see a man favoring his wife and children above others, which he does with a devoted heart, I am blessed. I am blessed by his overflow. His prejudice toward his family was a blessing. I believe if you adopt a new attitude of loving prejudice, you will be blessed too. And likewise, it will bless others as well. In fact, I would appreciate some more preferential prejudice from you right now. Go ahead and squish the like button and make sure you subscribe. Alrighty then. I need to apply my head to my favorite pillow. It's time for a nap.